Gardening in the Lockdown. This presentation is for Newcastle West Library, and it will go through things that we may be doing outside in the course of this special time. So we hope you join us and you enjoy this presentation. Orla, this is the first early potato, and it's a gift for flavour. It will be ready about May, June. If you plant it in a tunnel, it'll be ready in May, and if you plant it outside, you should plant it before St. Patrick's Day, and they should be ready in June, but you will have to mind them because they are prone to frost, especially in the month of April. So, what are we going to cover in this presentation? Well, first of all, what's different about the lockdown and why we should be thinking of the garden in the lockdown. Why would you do a garden anyway? What are the benefits from it? We have some design ideas of how to do a garden. We have suggestions for amenity, for shrubs, and to create some memories, special memories from 2021, and then we have advice at the end of where you can get information, and particularly in your local library. So the lockdown. Well, most of us are around the house now, and we're needing more space. There are more people in the house, certainly in our house, so we need room outside as well as inside, and we also have a risk of infection. It's much greater now with the virus, so we need a better diet, and we need to up our immunity and keep that as high as we possibly can. We're meeting less people and we're going less places, so we need to create these special places and scents and colours around our own place at home and make that a kind of permanent legacy from the lockdown. So why do the garden? Well, firstly, I suppose we think of healthy food, better nutrition, and better immunity. If you are growing food at home, it'll be immediately available, it'll be fresh, and it will lose none of the nutrients and vitamins that you so badly need. You'll also get exercise free, so you won't have to go to the gym. You'll have more variety in your diet, and you'll have tastes and flavours that you may not have had before. You can recycle if you're gardening as well. You can have a little compost heap, and that'll recycle lots of your peelings. And your precious plants that you've out there will be taking in carbon dioxide from the air. That'll be reducing the carbon load in the atmosphere, and that's better for the planet and for biodiversity too. And the whole gardening experience can be fun. You will be able to share food possibly with friends, and your body will be earthed, which can have huge improvement on your physical and on your mental health. Now, so the plan then is where you're going to put stuff. You have a blank canvas at this time of year. It's February, and depending on how much space you have, you may want to put pots if it's just a small area or an apartment. Think of pots, good sized pots, and window boxes. Now they should be kept nearby near the door. And then as you move out from the door, if you have space, you can think of veg in the next circle, and then possibly putting in a water harvesting system, maybe a little pond. Compost heap will have to go somewhere. Moving out further still, you can consider fruit trees, shrubs, black currants, apples, raspberries, all these. But especially think of putting in seating and a quiet scented area maybe, which we outline a bit in the next slide. Herbs, definitely, you have to include herbs. I mean, they're the key to providing the flavours, the vitamins, and they're just a gift. There's probably about 10 very easy to grow herbs which will be there for years. Lots of them are perennial. If you get them in a good decent sized pot, they will serve you for 3, 4, 5 years longer, some of them up to 10. So the equipment you're going to need then. Well, first of all, if you're starting off, you may not have these if you're a new gardener, so you need to get trays of various sizes, pots. You need to gather old milk cartons which you can recycle and turn into pots. You're going to need compost to put seeds in, preferably peat-free compost. If you search it out, you'll find it. You'll need seeds and plants. And of course there's tools. So we come to the seeds in a moment. Tools: spade, fork, wheelbarrow, hoe, brush, rake, hand trowel, gloves, some people swear by them, roll of twine to keep your beds straight as well. And now you've got your equipment and your tools, so what else do you need? You need to plan out how big you're going to make this, how much time have you got. And the advice generally is to keep the garden manageable, especially in the first year. If you're doing beds, you could think of 4 beds. A metre wide is the normal thing for a bed, not much more than a metre anyway. And if you've the space, you can go up to 10 metres if you want. If it's just window boxes, again, you maybe think of 4 different or a few window boxes, whatever you can manage. Perennial plants are a gift because once they go in, they're there. The suggestion here is maybe do a 4-year rotation, which will be coming to in the next slide. Of course, living soil is the key to all of this. You need to have your soil alive, and that will give you living, healthy food. This soil is in what we call a raised bed. It's edged, and it's just has got lots of compost and farmyard manure to keep it alive. Farmyard manure, if you can lay your hands on it, is priceless. It should be dug in as quick as you get it. If you can't get that, then try to get peat-free compost or make your own compost. Simple compost heap, a couple of pallets will do the job. A little wormery on your left there is made from old tires with a bit of wire mesh at the bottom, and that will produce even finer compost. You just started off with worms. Lots of advice how to do a wormery. That one would be vermin proof because it's the wire in the tires. So there's lots of solutions to worries people have on compost. Quite easy to do, and it'll keep down the landfill and the bill for the recycling as well. Onions and garlic, so easy to grow. They will produce one clove of garlic will give you 10, and it will last. You can plant it still in here now in February, and you'll have it sort of July, August. The flavour is amazing, and homegrown garlic is much easier to handle. The skin comes off easier and it's fresh. Seeds are the cheapest way to start a garden, but they do need time and they need care. So a few suggestions here. Potatoes, obviously, we all love them in Ireland. Carrots, we love too, they're a good winter crop. Onions, leeks, garlic, they would all go well together. Then the turnips and the cabbage and the Swedes, they're another year you could do those, or another bed. Peas and beans go well together. And think of winter crop salads as well, and where possible, try to get organic seeds which are well tested, because you want all your work in the garden, you don't want to have it destroyed by having poor quality seeds. Suggestion year 1 is potatoes. They are a great start crop. They can deal with weeds for the most part. They do need good fertility, or right dung or farmyard manure, but they will help to clear your bed of weeds for the first year. And then going on to year 2, you might consider peas, broad beans. There's different types. If you're planting now in April, you can get broad beans and peas, you'll have to leave. The French beans are more sensitive and the runners, so be inclined to leave those until the soil gets warm. And year 3, yes, the cabbages, the swedes, the turnips. Purple sprouting broccoli is a great crop to have. It will last through the winter, and broccoli is just a super food. So is salads like radish, and they will be top nutrition. If you can manage a small polytunnel, it will give you all year round possibilities. You can work in there even on a wet day, and it will cost about the same as a sun holiday would cost for one person, and it's a lifetime gift to a whole family, so well worth looking at polytunnels. Carrots and onions, they make a great companions to crops. Carrots are delicate enough to start, they take a long time to germinate, so they need a really fine bed, but you can't transplant them like you would other plants, they just don't suffer that well, but the flavour is excellent and the vitamins are excellent too. And then there are other crops. You may want to think of lettuce, lots of varieties of summer, winter, coloured, red, green, all sorts of lettuce. Beetroot, coarse, powerful nutrition in beetroot, so well worth thinking of that. And there are other ones like celery, which you may like to fit in, and perhaps a few flowers as well. Top of each bed, a few flowers will add colour and draw in beneficial insects too. Raised bed, if you have time and space, it is easier on the back, it's that bit nearer to you to handle, and it's a bit warmer too because the soil is raised up, so it's a better place to start off crops in the spring in a raised bed. Now, when the crops are in, then you've got to protect these precious plants. Protect them against the weather and diseases, and there's pests and there's weeds, and they all compete. So a little cover of what we call a mini tunnel or a cloche is a huge help to prevent frost or wind damage, and it also extends the growing season, so you can grow on much later with that. It's cheap, much cheaper than a polytunnel, and easy enough to make with some wire hoops, and you can buy fleece or plastic very simply in a garden shop. Insects, pests, yes, they are a real issue for gardeners. So good hygiene helps to clear out their eggs so they don't overwinter as easily. Sprays of garlic crushed up with a little bit of soap helps to reduce the insect population. You may need sticky traps if you have an insect called flea beetle. Nets will prevent carrot root fly and cabbage white butterfly, and the other ways to have flowers diverse smells and colours which insects will get attracted to away from your precious veg plant. Slugs, yes, they love tall grass and areas where they can hide. They like moisture, they don't like dried areas. So that's where the reserve army of slugs with all their teeth and their tanks hang out. So your plants, ideally, slugs love small plants. So better still if you can plant plants rather than seeds. And slugs will inevitably come in, but you can use barriers like sand, seaweed, a bit of wood ash around the edge reduces their ability to slide as well. And you can also use traps, beer traps. If you go out in the morning and see there will be slugs there, and that will reduce the population too. Time is, of course, a major issue. That's why some people say, I just can't do gardening, I don't have time. It doesn't need a lot of time to do garden. We would suggest over the years that you take a walk in the morning, about 5 minutes, and you'll notice what's to be done. Now that can be a time when you just draw your breath before you go to work or whatever, and maybe listen to the birds or to whatever you like doing in the morning. But then you come back in the evening and try and give it a half an hour or an hour in the busy times. And you will enjoy it slowly if you build it up and not let it get on top of you. It'll be a joy. During this lockdown, it struck me that it's a time to build lasting memories and to create, we say, these special places that we can create outside or inside if you can't be outside, with plants in your house. Seating outside is vital. Everybody likes to sit down from time to time, and if you have nice seating, maybe a little pond nearby too, worked with a solar pump. If you can hook it up to a roof tank, that's great, but you can recycle water in a pond with a solar pump without needing a lot of water. Grow new herbs, maybe raspberries, maybe a different variety of apple, hazelnuts, and look again at the lawn. Reducing the size of the lawn is a very wise thing to do, because lawns are far too big in Ireland. So you could do paths around particular areas, and if there are children who need a small area to play, well, that's fine. But if you let the flowers grow, you'll attract more insects, which will help reduce the pests in your plants. Resources and timing. People, lots of people in gardening is a social activity, and the old good gardeners that you might come across, they're only too glad to help for the most part. And people at market stalls who grow what they sell, they're a fund of information too. And then there are places where you get really good seeds, like Irish Seed Savers in Scariff and Fruit Hill Farm in Bantry, and the local garden shops, of course. A word about timing, because it's still only February, and we had 2 days of frost last April, which did serious damage to lots of early potatoes that were up. So be careful, cover stuff watch the weather forecast, keep an eye on the minuses as soon as your plants appear. Lots of good books in the library. Some of them are listed here, and they're an investment because you need to look on this as a long-term relationship which you need to build year by year. And there are other books listed here which will help your health too. Grow a New Body is an excellent book. It's not just about gardening, but it's about nutrition, and Attenborough's film is well worth looking at on why we should all be gardening. And then specific ones like A Salad Garden, well worth looking at. There are lots of others in your local. And we've come to the end. We think of the Posh Day. So these little people, wherever they are in our lives, they're the hope, the great hope for the years ahead. Because they're small, they especially need good food. They have a very low body mass, and if they form habits when they're young of picking and being out with you in the garden, these habits will last for life, and these young people will change the way the world is, because we need to be much more careful. We need a healthier and a more diverse world. So weakest to everybody who watched this presentation, and my wish is that you enjoy and that you share your possibilities of having a beautiful relationship with that excellent room outside.